Hey, what's up, everybody? It's rock and roll comedian Don Jameson, That Metal Show, Rockstrap, International Spy, and Master Chef. You are hanging out with the hooligans, those YouTube guys.
You wanted the best. Well, they retired. So you got two dudes in a garage.
Talking Kiss.
Welcome to the Hooligan Nation, a KISS-Centric Podcast, the podcast where the riffs are loud, but our opinions are louder. I'm Anthony.
I'm Black Diamond Dave.
Yes, you are.
Yes, sir.
Reaching legendary status, Black Diamond Dave.
I'm working my way there.
Want to get a shout out to Father Rocco, he's attending to his vajayjay-sectomy.
A vajectomy.
His vajectomy that he got. And I also want to warn Father Rocco right off the top that if he doesn't get back here soon, I am going to tell Black Diamond Dave the apples and vodka story. That's your first
warning. And I
warning.
get your pretzels. It's in my contract. I get the pretzels.
Oh, you're going to slam dunk him like he does, trying to sneak him?
Not on camera, though. Okay. You guys pay extra for that.
What's up, hooligans? And welcome. This is unbelievable to me. Welcome to season 3 of the Hooligan Nation. Episode number 71. I have no idea how we got here, and people are actually watching and listening. I expected this to be like a limited series of like 3 episodes, and then we maybe should move on to something else that we can use for eating crayons and shit. But somehow we made it to 71 episodes. I got no idea what episode 72 is going to be yet, but I guess we'll figure that out when we get there.
Heck yeah.
This week, we're going to look back at 2025 in KISS-tory. So many things happened this year in the KISS world, and we want to talk about it. But before that, we have news, music we're listening to, and of course, our weekly poll. But first, last episode recap, episode number 70, The Catman's Comeback. Does this album change Peter Criss's legacy? Black Diamond Dave, you got anything you'd like to add? Say yes.
Catman's back. We love it. You say yes. I always say yes. That's my job. The Catman's back. It's good stuff. We love it. We're happy to have Peter back. Honestly, hope we get something else before he closes up shop and calls it a day. If he could give us more music like that, I'd be okay with that.
You really think that's a possibility?
No.
Okay.
That's wishful thinking. I mean, if John 5 wanted it to happen, he could get another one out in the next 2 years. Believe that.
Well, I have to admit, I love Peter to death. But I have to admit, I do struggle giving him the majority of the credit.
Not on that album, no.
Because of the prior solo albums. I struggle at that. Look, I hope that he was the driving force. I just think other people were steering at times, and that's probably why it came out to be as good as it was. And I'm even more impressed with the reviews, with the fans, because for most of what I read, the fans love it. I don't know whether we all love it because it's great or we all love it because it doesn't suck. But whatever the reason, at 80 years old, hey, good for Peter. And
it's a testament, man, to what a good
Peter.
Filter can do for somebody at that age. I mean, a musician like Peter needs a good filter and a team of people that he can trust. And I don't think he ever had that with the band. I think he was told what to do when he was in the band.
Right. Or everything was a fight.
Right. So this was probably the most fun he's had making an album in a long time, dude.
And we always pride ourselves from the start with being as transparent as humanly possible. With that being said, I'm going to admit that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Because I edited that episode, and when I edited it, I was like, this is terrible. We can't put this out. This is just not good. Right? Our timing wasn't perfect to me. Nope. Lots of things were off. And I was thinking about re-recording it, and I was considering re-recording it on my own, and I was considering calling you and being like, "Hey, we got to re-record that." And then I was like, well, I've heard other creators say it's the episodes that you think aren't going to be good that are going to be, and I decided, you know what? What the hell? It's
Yeah,
coming
dude.
out the day after Christmas. It is what it is. You can't hit a home run every time.
No blemishes and all, man.
Holy Jesus. It's our number one video. It's number one for
Really?
our audio. It's number one for us. Like,
Wow.
I'm not trying to
Still though,
say
that's crazy, man.
I'm not trying to say we're competing against Joe Rogan, but
No.
we have gotten so many subscribers that have subscribed off that video. It's got well over, I don't know, 600 views in a couple days, which is a lot for us.
Oh.
So number one, thank you to all the hooligans out there for
Yeah, thank
supporting
you.
us. And number two, the next time we record an episode that I hate, I think I may rush it out early because
Tonight.
because what the hell do I know?
That's exciting. Thank you guys.
News. I heard from a little birdie that you don't have any news.
No, this is your segment. I'm following you.
That's going to be a demerit.
Bad.
So for my news segment, I thought we would just discuss a few untimely deaths in 2025, those
Okay.
that we lost. And we have to start at the godfather of heavy metal, Ozzy Osbourne. We lost him on July 22nd, 2025, just weeks after performing a final farewell concert in Birmingham, England. And the only thing I'll say about it is thank God for Ozzy. I mean, thank God for us, but first and foremost, thank God for Ozzy that he got to do that last performance, because by all accounts, that was his goal in the world, was to do it one more time. So thank God he did it again. Next up, Les Binks, 73, former Judas Priest drummer from 1977 and 1979, who played on Stained Class and Killing Machine, died on March 15th, 2025. Brent Hines, 51, co-founder, vocalist, and guitarist of Mastodon, died in a motorcycle accident in Atlanta on August 20th, 2025. Sam Rivers, 48, bassist and co-founder of Limp Bizkit, died of cardiac arrest on October 18th, 2025. Aaron Rossi, 44, former drummer for Ministry and Prong, died of a heart attack on January 27th, 2025. Roy Thomas Baker, 78, famed record producer for Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue, Alice Cooper, and Queen, died on April 12th, 2025. Paul Mary O'Day, 69, the original vocalist for Iron Maiden from 1975 to 1976, died of cancer in July 2025. Mick Ralphs, 81, founding guitarist for Bad Company and Mott the Hoople, died in June 2025. Rick Derringer, 77, influential guitarist and producer, notably for Weird Al Yankovic, died on May 26, 2025, from complications following heart surgery. Dave Jordan, 75, acclaimed producer for Alice in Chains, Anthrax, and Jane's Addiction, died on February 5th, 2025. Rest in peace to all of those that we lost in 2025. Also, just as a note for the hooligans, don't forget our Ace Frehley champagne glass giveaway. For more information on how to get entered for this limited edition History collector's piece, go to hooliganNation.com. This giveaway will run until January 12th at 11:59 p.m. Good luck to all the hooligans that are going to participate. Music we're listening to. What do you got?
I'm listening to the reissue of Black and Blue by the Rolling Stones. They included a new single on it. It's a cover of Shame, Shame, Shame. It's a little disco. It's a little funky. It's fun to dance to. I love it.
Well, I'm the first one to admit, like I usually do, about I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm not a huge Rolling Stones fan. But I do like doing this music we're listening to because it does force me to kind of check it out and see if I think you're crazy or if you're right.
Oh no, it's good.
Just don't tell me to listen to the Beatles because it won't happen. And don't tell me to listen to Led Zeppelin because it won't happen either, probably.
You should burst into flames when you say those things.
I'm going to burst into flames at some point anyway, so might as well
Flamer.
be now. Well, no, the flamer is got an ice pack on his newly horizontal vajayjay right now.
I'm sorry, Rocco.
He self-imposed himself coming out of the closet. I had nothing to do with that. But if you're interested in hearing that, look at the Don Jameson episode, and you'll be able to see and hear the moment that Father Rocco busted through the closet.
It's called breaking barriers. He's doing it for all of us.
Wow. Wow. Just wow. Well, come back soon, Father Rocco.
We miss you.
You know what time it is?
Poll time.
Oh my God, it's poll time. You know what that means?
We're going to dance.
Uh-huh. All right. Our weekly polls can be found on our community tab and on our Facebook group. This week's question is regarding the future of KISS. What are you most excited about? Your choices: new music, the avatars, more box sets, the KISS cruise on a cruise ship, and of course, Father Rocco had to write in KISS cruise landlocked back in Vegas for another year. Black Diamond Dave, what is your choice?
Honestly, I kind of want to write into just new events in general, chances to see the band before it's over. I think that's the most exciting thing for me at this point.
That's interesting. I don't know. I'd rather it be in Vegas. I've said it before, so they probably don't want to hear it, but I'd really prefer them to do it in Vegas.
I think they will for marketing. It makes the most sense. The
I
points
hope
that have
so.
been made for that.
Speaking of marketing, have you seen our Hooligan Nation drink container available at hooligannation.com?
From KISS.
My water tastes so good out of this drink container, it's worth it. And it helps to support the Hooligan Nation podcast. Black Diamond Dave, what do you think the hooligans want?
Probably new music, huh?
You know, if I didn't know the numbers, I would have absolutely said the same thing.
Okay.
But let's go through this.
Yeah.
So the write-in vote, KISS Cruise landlocked back in Vegas for another year, got a whopping 3% of the vote.
Oh, wow.
The KISS Cruise back on a cruise ship got 5%. The avatars got 21%. New music got 29%. And more box sets come in with the win with 42%.
Or the old stuff. Okay. I mean, I like that stuff too.
I was a little surprised that the box sets beat new music.
Me too.
Because
You would
I
think people would want something else.
I think I'm stuck between KISS Cruise landlocked back in Vegas for another year because I just think they can make it better. And it was pretty damn good this year for the first time. And new music always interests me, even if I don't like it. Just the fact that they're creating more music for the legacy, I think, is never a bad thing. But I think we're definitely going to get more new music. We're definitely going to get more box sets. We're definitely going to get the avatars. They're too far into it to not get it. And I definitely think we're going to get another KISS cruise. I just don't know whether it's on land or sea, but I'm hoping for land. Thank you to all the hooligans that voted. A new poll is up right now, so please, please, please vote. It is both your right and your responsibility as a hooligan. Battleborn is a collaborative effort among like-minded individuals and organizations intent on repairing and restoring people who have served our country. We do this by delivering a unique level of support and guidance to those servicemen and women who have emotional and psychological wounds. We provide support directly and indirectly in collaboration with others in our community who value those who have served this nation and its communities. For more information, go to wearebattleborn.com. Black Diamond Dave, are you ready for our 2025 KISS-3
Year in review? Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to start. We're going to start at the beginning, and we tried to do this chronologically. The KISS Corporation, Pop House, however you want to call it, they started the year off with a solid gold and a gold-plated single for Strutter. The gold-plated was worth, I think it was being sold for $2,500, and the solid gold was being sold for $50,000.
For a record that you've listened to 1,000,000 times.
And not only that, but would you listen to it? Would you spend $50,000 on a solid gold record? And that was one of the big selling points was you can listen to it. I would never listen to it.
No, I got in a bank box.
I got a couple cool facts that have to do with this. If you're interested in my stupid facts.
Absolutely.
In the $50,000 solid gold Strutter single, there was $22,000 of gold.
Sounds like Gene and Paul.
Now, there's positives and negatives of that, if you think about it. Gold is never going to depreciate.
Right.
So if you hold on to it long enough, you could technically melt it down, and you probably, at some point, would get your $50,000 back. The other part is that's a pretty good markup if you're Pop House. I don't really think it's Gene and Paul. If you're a Pop House, that's a pretty good markup. And they were supposedly only selling 5 of them, which I'm not buying. Because if the 6th person wants to spend $50,000 on $22,000 worth of gold, they're going to make that happen.
We're going to melt one.
It's just bad business not to make that happen. So what a way to start off 2025, huh? In perfect KISS fashion, we're going to offer you a $50,000 solid gold single with $22,000 of gold in it.
Might as well be a dinner plate.
Oh, they could be coming. Don't come up with great ideas and not expect someone to go,
air guitar. It's the air guitar he keeps talking about that's killing me.
Next thing, Gene Simmons tours with his solo band, and the Hooligans go see him live in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Did you happen to see any of the shows?
No, the closest he came to me was Georgia, and he ended up canceling that show because of rain and stuff. Gene never comes close to me in South Carolina for some reason.
Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. That's because Gene will date almost anybody, but he doesn't want to date his sister.
I'm just happy you understood that we're not West Virginia. If you had pulled that cousin shit on me, I'd have been mad.
Let me tell you this. Gene's show was very good. If you listen to the Keyboard Warriors, a lot of them killed him because he did his own thing. And he very much did his own thing. It was a lot like a variety show. He brought a ton of people up at different times. He did talk a lot. But, you know, he was entertaining. He didn't play all the deep cuts that we were hoping for. But he did play a couple of them. And I hated some I just hated some stuff that he played. Like um he played a cover of a Beatles song that I had never heard before and will never hear again. He played a cover of a Motorhead song.
Ace of Spades.
No no disrespect to Lemmy, but when you're Gene Simmons and you have the catalog that he has and that Kiss has, like instead of playing a Motorhead song, how about you play a Kiss song
Yeah.
that nobody's ever heard live?
Did he do the Van Halen cover when you saw him?
He did that too, and
Was it Hang 'em High is what he was playing?
no, it was House of Pain,
House of Pain. Okay. Wow.
and I was not thrilled with that either.
No.
So, what was that? Three covers, I think. Like those are three Kiss songs he could have done. But look, that's part of being a Kiss fan is Monday morning quarterbacking everything that they do.
Absolutely.
And we kind of tried to temper our Kiss Tart fandom, especially that night, because he did play, I think he played Charisma, which was the big one, like for us.
Heck yeah.
And the band was great. He was really good. So it was a good night. The oddest thing about the whole night, and this is by far the oddest thing, is we walked into that arena and you could not buy Gene Simmons merchandise anywhere. And I
No.
thought there was not one thing for sale.
No money bag t-shirts, anything. Wow.
Nothing.
That's weird.
Nothing. And I don't
Proud of you,
know.
Gene.
I don't know like what the reason behind that was. I don't think anybody's asked the question. And I have no idea. I don't know whether it's because he canceled most of the tour or what it was, but you're talking about Kiss fans.
Right.
Like I bet you better than 90% of them had some kind of Kiss clothing on that walked in there, and they were itching to have more
Oh,
because
yeah,
I was.
we wear wallets around our necks.
Right.
Yeah.
I was itching, like it was like, oh, I gotta get me a shirt. Well, which shirt? I don't care. I don't care. Well, like whatever, I'm gonna get me a shirt. And then there was nothing. It was kind of surprising.
Gene is growing up.
Or somebody on that team dropped the ball and probably got fired.
That's probably the most realistic scenario.
Next up on our little timeline, Peter Criss announces his new rock album coming in the fall of 2025 and lists notable musicians like John Five, Billy Sheehan, Piggy D, and Paul Schaefer. It should be mentioned that he made this announcement through Julian Gill of the Kiss FAQ, who got that's the master scoop right there. And we were all interested because the word rock
Yeah. New
was
Peter.
was in the
Dude.
statement. And we waited a long, long time. I think that came out in March. And then the single came out in late October, and then the album didn't come out until middle of December. And you know what? It's a pretty good rock album.
Totally.
So Julian Gill didn't lie to us.
Nope.
And Peter delivered on his statement. And then Kiss Cruise Landlocked in Vegas, which was not labeled as Kiss Cruise Landlocked in Vegas at the time, was announced for November 14th to 16th at Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas. And the big part of that was it was billed as two unmasked Kiss shows. Very quickly, maybe within a month or two, the event was then rebranded from its original, which was Kiss Army Storms Vegas,
Yep.
to Kiss Cruise Landlocked in Vegas. And if you hooligans remember, the rebrand was rolled out by none other than Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. And it very much looked like they took control and said to Pop House, "You're doing it wrong." Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it seemed.
No,
Personally,
that's totally what happened, man. Dude, sales were dwindling.
I liked the branding of Kiss Army Storms Vegas. I did. What I didn't like is the narrative that came with that, which was pretty much Gene
Oh yeah.
coming out and saying things like, "This is a fan driven event. We're just guests. We're going to get up there and do a few songs." Like, I started to panic
Me too.
because I had already paid for it.
Me too.
And then Gene started to talk, and I was like, "Oh my God, what?"
He said he said no lights, we're just gonna plug into an amp and see what happens. We might play 5 to 10 songs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the messaging was really, really. I don't think it was bad. It was disconnected.
Yeah.
I think, and this is nowhere in our timeline, but I think this is important to say. I think 2025 was the year that Pop House got a clue. Like, I think as they sit there with a few days left in 2025 right now, they're looking back and saying, "We learned a lot and we're going to be better in 2026," because I think they spent a boatload of money on Kiss. And I'm not sure that there was enough important people at Pop House that took the time to understand Kiss fans.
Was this the year that they started talking to, I call them the Council of the Elders, like all the more important, I guess you could say, Kiss fans in the community, that they went and they had like a dinner with them? Was this the first year they did that? Because I think that made a difference.
Yeah, it's the first year that I've heard about it,
Me
and
too.
I think it's a great idea. I think
Oh,
it's the
definitely.
right direction to go. Like, we have said on this podcast from the start that we're not Kiss geniuses,
No.
but I mean, one of them on that, whatever you want to call it, board is Mark Cicchini from Three Sides of the Coin. And if he's not a Kiss genius, I don't know who is.
100%.
Because that guy pulls things out that I've never heard of before. And not only does he pull it out, but then he proves it because he owns it.
Right.
So, like, I think that's a great thing going forward, to use those kinds of things and people to move the KISS Corporation into the future. So then we get to official details dropped, revealing 2 KISS performances, one acoustic and electric, Q&As with Simmons, Stanley, and Thayer, and manager Doc McGee, plus added acts like Quiet Riot, Piercy DiMartini, Sebastian Bach, and Bruce Kulick's solo band are announced. And now comes the uncomfortable time where we all start to wonder, where's
The
Eric
meltdown.
Singer?
Yep. This is when the meltdown started this year.
Yes, where's Eric Singer, and why isn't he included? And I know personally, I got all excited because that to me meant we were going to get both Peter Criss and Ace Frehley.
I wanted to believe that too.
And then my common sense kicked in, and I said, "No, something's going on." And there's no doubt in my mind, and I've said it countless times, this was a money thing. This was
Definitely.
Eric's chance to get his worth, and that's why he held out. And until somebody proves to me something different, that's what I'm going to believe. Now let's get to the acts, because I could have picked some better acts, but I thought it was cool. Quiet Riot, Piercy DiMartini, seeing Warren DiMartini play the guitar is always good.
Heck yeah.
Sebastian Bach is a Kiss super fan, and I'll still say this. I think Bruce Kulick is probably the most popular personality that ever played in Kiss, only because he's the only one that I cannot find him doing or saying anything stupid.
Right.
Like he is, to me, he is the golden child of the history of Kiss. Never stepped out of line, never said anything stupid. I wonder if that guy ever even gets mad at anything, because it sure doesn't seem that way to me.
Bruce is a good dude. Everybody loves Bruce.
He is literally the thank you, may I have another guy.
Ha. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Then in late August 2025, the official event schedule and activities for the November Kiss Cruise Landlocked were released. And I thought they were good, personally. I
I
mean,
did too.
some of them were a little goofy that actually turned out not to be as goofy as I thought it was. Like
Cooking with Paul.
Cooking with Paul was at the top of my list. And it really wasn't Cooking with Paul. It was more ask Paul questions that he's not prepared to answer, which is what made it so cool to me. He did look uncomfortable a couple times with the questions being asked, but he was kind of stuck. I still don't know what the hell he cooked or what the ingredients were in it, and I don't think anybody else knows or cares.
It was orange juice pasta. That's all I remember.
Orange juice pot. I didn't even remember that.
Dude, it was like orange juice concentrate in some kind of pasta with Italian sausage.
Wow.
Yeah, Paul is out there, brother.
I guess so. I'm not mixing.
You can eat what you want when your table's worth more than my whole house.
Oh, we didn't put that in the timeline, but you
The
know
Paul
what?
table?
I gotta throw that in the timeline. Hooligans, that's when you know you've reached the level of celebrity that you need to take yourself down. When there is an entire YouTube video on the fact that you bought a dining room table, that it still drives me crazy that I have not grown the balls to call that company. Because I said this in the old episode. I wanted to call that company and tell them kind of half the truth. Like, I saw the Paul Stanley dining room table. Can you give me a price quote on that? I'm really interested in it, just to see how much it, if they would tell me. And also, I'd love to know how much that dining room table costs, because I don't really have any ballpark idea.
Oh, it was a beautiful table, but I have no idea.
Right, but I can tell you one thing, like, if I buy that dining room table, ain't nobody eating at it.
No, this is the looking table.
Like, you know what's going to go on that dining room table?
My gold record.
The $50,000 Strutter gold record. Yep. And it's going to be like electrified with a fence with barbed wire. Nobody goes near it.
And my Kiss Dow Strong knives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll put that right next to it. There you go. Right there.
You got it.
And then we get to September, which it starts a rough period.
Yeah.
For all Kiss fans. In September 2025, Ace cancels a weekend worth of shows due to a fall. And I can remember Father Rocco and I think we talked about it, but I think I ended up saying, hey, it's only a weekend. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I remember thinking that too.
And then it was about a week later that Ace canceled the remaining 2025 tour dates due to medical issues after hospitalization. And boy, did the rumors begin to fly. And I'll be the first one to say, most of the rumors were true. And I will also say, because enough time has passed, that Father Rocco and I, we had a little inside information that we were not going to make public. Number one, we weren't going to make it public. And number two, we could not get a second source. And the inside information was that Ace had, I think the number was 3 strokes, and that it was much worse than. So I know you're from South Carolina. So where we grew up, Marshtown, well, what we know as Marshtown Memorial Hospital, which is like Atlantic Health now, is about 10 minutes away. So we knew people that had worked there, and we knew people that worked there. And a certain person that currently worked there told us, hey, it's bad. And this is before everything got out.
Wow.
What did it for me, and I should know better, but what did it for me is when Eddie Trunk came on a show and said, look, Ace just fell, he's fine. I believed it. I didn't put the pieces together that, hey, somebody's telling him he's got to say that.
Eddie protected his boy.
Right. And I can't knock him for that.
No.
Like, he gets a gimme for that one by all means, because I think if you asked Eddie, his choice would have been to come out and tell the truth. He was put in a position where he couldn't do it. But I did buy it. And not only did I buy that, but I looked at Ace Frehley canceling the rest of the tour dates, and I said, well, there isn't that many. It was towards the end of the year. I think he ended up maybe canceling 3 or 4 tour dates. And, you know, I made some crazy shit up in my head, like, well, he probably fell down the stairs. He's probably a little hurt. I still believed he was going to show up in Vegas.
Me too.
And that's probably why they were canceling.
And then be ready for December.
I was like, maybe it's a knee injury. Maybe it's a hip. You know, maybe it's something like that. I don't know why. I think it was just being a KISS tart. Like, and we talked about this. Until Ace died, they were superheroes. They were going to live forever.
Yes, Superman doesn't die, dude.
Yeah, so I never believed. I mean, I can remember Father Rocco and I fighting. Not fighting in that he was for saying it and I was against it, but we were like fighting with each other back and forth. Like, do we address this? Do we not address it? And I don't know why it was like, no, we're not going to touch this. We can't confirm it. And my God, if we put this out there, we have become the poster children for amateurs that put out clickbait.
Grifter.
And we avoided it, and then a lot of other people didn't. And then we started to talk about it like, hey, these people, they don't know the facts. And in reality, they did know the facts. So part of the timeline was, I think the Hooligan Nation podcast learned a lot about the business that we threw ourselves in and didn't know anything about. Although I will say this, if I had the chance to do it over again, I think I would have done it exactly the same way, except I wouldn't have questioned the people that put the rumors out. And that's only because the rumors ended up to be, they weren't 100% factually true. But, you know, I think maybe there were strokes involved, but it was because of a brain bleed and a head injury. And if you know anything about medicine at all, and please don't put it in the comments what to do about a headache or anything else, because I'm not a doctor. But you can have a stroke over that, and you know. But still, we're not going to do the clickbait thing still, and we're not interested in that. And I think it all turned out. As far as us, I kind of feel good the way it turned out because we didn't put it out there. And there's also Monique to consider, and Jeanette, There were other things to consider that we didn't feel, especially because I lived 3 miles away from them. I I just couldn't imagine putting out the wrong information and then bumping into Monique in the grocery store and her knowing who I was.
Like a scumbag.
Right.
Yeah.
So that all came with that, but it was a very good learning experience for all of us, I think. And then we get to October. And although these little things probably shouldn't break up the whole Ace Frehley story, timeline wise, they do. We had Cadillac 50 in Cadillac, Michigan, which I'll give this over to you and you can discuss Cadillac, Michigan a little bit.
I mean, I don't have a whole heck of a lot to say about it because I didn't get to go, but I got to see a lot of photos. Everybody looked like they had a really good time. The band took over the town again 50 years later. Everybody that listens to the show knows the story. I'm not going to repeat it. One day I really hope to get out there to see you folks in Cadillac, get a picture with the monument. It would mean the world to me.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll meet you there.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
for the
100%. It's
monument
beautiful. The thing that town built is beautiful.
and just to say I was there. I think it's great that them people in Cadillac 50 years later still celebrate that whole event. I really do. I think that is absolutely great. And as far as I know, that is the only KISS monument anywhere in the world.
I wish Gene and Paul would go see those people. I think it would mean a lot to that town.
I agree with that. You have a platform now.
Gene and Paul, go to Cadillac.
Yeah, go to Cadillac.
And give me that movie you promised me a few years ago about it.
Oh, you should go to Cadillac. I agree with that. If Paul can fly from California to New Jersey to do an art gallery, he can fly from California to Cadillac, Michigan to walk down the road and shake hands and kiss babies and say thank you. They owe them people in Cadillac a lot. And 50 years later, those people in Cadillac still support KISS.
Yeah, those are some of the most insane photos you've ever seen of the band. It's from the Cadillac photos they've got. They're so bizarre.
It's one of those historic moments in history that everybody knows about. And I think you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, they should do that.
I'm surprised they haven't. The 50th would have been the time to do it.
Next up, KISS releases a Dress to Kill expanded box set, which I think exceeded all expectations. The only thing that I will say is, why did it take that long? We're in October. Like, we were talking about box sets being released, I think, at the end of 2024. And then you release two, because there's another one coming up. You released two box sets that I think the prices were between $250 and $400, maybe.
For the vinyl.
Right. You release them a month apart. Like, you're pretty much, you release them a month apart and you do KISS Cruise in Vegas in November. Like, you're killing these people. Like, they're that's what I was talking about with Pop House. I think and I hope that they're not going to do things like this in the future, because I'm not a big collector. I did not buy physical copies of either box sets, but I did go to Vegas.
Right.
But I can tell you right now, if you're going to put out a $400 box set in October and a $400 box set in November, I'm not buying them both.
Never.
It really has nothing to do with affording it or not. It's a principle thing to me. Like, you're just asking too much because of the time of year. Like, these people, some of these people have little kids. It's Christmas. They got jobs. They're normal people. Like, you should be considering those people. If you want to put out $50,000 gold records for however many have disposable income that can afford that, that's great.
Right.
I have no problem with that. But the box sets, you should be able to make money off of it, but every normal, everyday Kiss fan should be able to buy that if they want it. And at $400 a box set, putting one out in October and then putting another one out in November is bad planning, bad marketing, bad promotion, and it's just an ass move to me.
Talking about the back-to-back releases, I have to wonder if it came down to how to divide up the shows, like the live shows, and they just couldn't figure out how they wanted to do that, maybe. Because otherwise, what would be the reasoning? All the other stuff they've had.
Well, I know they have. I know from listening to Eddie Kramer that they did. He had to weave his
Completely
magic
remastered. Yeah.
on them. That was also the one part that was, I don't know, a little weird to me was, and I understand timeline is timeline, but you put out the Dress to Kill box set and you put out what essentially is a live one
Right.
uh, concerts, and then you put out an Alive One box set with essentially a Live One concerts. I don't know.
It's a weird strategy.
Yeah, it was to
Definitely.
me. A month apart.
And they still sold more of them than I thought they would.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I find it funny because out of the Dress to Kill box set, two things that jumped out of me right away was the remastering of Dress to Kill was substantial. And I'm not used to that. I listen to these remastered albums all the time and go, all right, what the hell's the difference?
Right.
For that one,
It's punchy now.
oh my God, you could tell the difference. Like it was a great job done. The other thing is, and I can't believe I'm going to say this in public.
Say it.
Mistake.
So good. Kiss slide guitar.
Right until
Like
the
steel.
end. When they break out into whatever the hell you want to call that at the end.
The little jam.
Yeah, that's when it was time for me to shut it off. But when I first listened to it, I was like, are you kidding me? This is a Kiss country song. I'm not listening to this. And then by the third or fourth time, I was like singing it in the car. And I was like, I don't even like country, but I kind of like this. And then the end would come and I'd be like, oh, no. Now I remember why I don't like it anymore.
But this is country with a K, buddy.
And now, unfortunately, we have to get to October 16th, which was a monumental day. It was a monumental bad day, but boy, I got to tell you, I remember this day like it was yesterday.
Never forget.
Because news started to break early in the day that Ace was in bad shape and there didn't seem to be any hope. And just the way it was being rolled out, I can remember picking the phone up and calling Father Rocco and being like, hey, I think this might be true. And this might be a problem. And he steadfast, because he's a believer of everything. Ace is going to be okay. I don't believe it. And then I think I turned on Eddie Trunk's radio show, and Eddie Trunk came on just about 3:00 and said it. And when he did, like my phone exploded. And that was the first moment that I realized, that was the first moment in my entire life that I realized, A, Kiss was bigger to the world than I ever thought.
Definitely.
And next, Ace was a bigger legend than I ever thought. And I'm stupid, but I didn't think it was because of stupidity. I thought it was because, like, we're on the ground floor. We're in the middle of all of it. Like, you don't get that. You don't get that 20,000 feet look at it. But when different news agencies, CNN, Fox News, like places that you wouldn't think were sending me breaking news. Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley dies at 74 years old. Like, you got all these things running around in your head, and it's almost being diluted by, holy shit, CNN thinks this is a big deal.
Yeah.
And you know, it may sound stupid, but that's the things that came through my head is, wow. And then the Ace tributes that started to roll out, and my God, there was an outpouring of tributes to follow.
It was beautiful.
I would say Eddie Trunk led the way. I think he did 3 different tribute shows for Ace. I think all of the KISS podcasters, including us, did some kind of tributes. And I can say this, all of the podcasters put out spectacular tributes.
Heck yeah.
And I watched or listened to every one of them. It was a monumentally sad moment in history, but it was a monumental moment in history nonetheless. And it was almost gratifying as a fan to know finally the rest of the world has caught up to what the rest of us KISS starts think. And it was nice for Ace to finally get his due. It's just unfortunate that it came after he died.
Yeah. It was really cool to not only learn that my love and my passion for the band had rubbed off on so many people that I knew, that I got condolence text. Like, I knew the guy. Yeah, no, like, his passing was really unique, and I don't know that the other guys are going to get to feel that on that level. I really believe that Ace hurt on another level for some reason, because we all really thought if anybody's going to pull through this, it's going to be Ace.
You know, my brother was a huge Ace Frehley fan.
Silver shoes, my guy.
And I got every chance I get, I take it to give him credit. I am a KISS fan, and I am on this screen right now because of my brother driving KISS down my throat. I give him all the credit in the world. So the news starts to hit, everything goes crazy. I'm getting text messages like you, like, hey, I heard Ace Frehley died, like from guys that I played football with 30 years before. That right. If you asked me the day before, do they even know who Ace Frehley is? I would have told you no.
No. Yeah.
But I'm getting text messages from them kind of people like, hey, I'm sorry to hear about Ace Frehley. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, do you even know who Ace Frehley is? Oh, that's weird. So I decide, you know what? I better check in with my brother. And I send him a text message. Hey, are you okay? And his response was no. And that was a monumental moment. And that's
flooring.
And after that text message, I picked the phone up and I called Father Rocco, who was, I think, doing worse than my brother was at the time. I mean, I would have never expected it to affect me in the fashion that it did. And look, we're by the time this airs, it'll be January. And it still has an effect.
It's real fresh still. Yeah. I thought Ozzy hurt. Ozzy didn't hurt half as much as Ace. I'm going to be honest.
No, and I don't know if it's the fact that I think we all think that Ozzy knew it was coming. We all knew it was coming. And not Ozzy Ace. Got to close the book.
I've said that repeatedly. And have Ace you ever seen someone get to go out the way they should?
No.
Ozzy we've never seen that before for our heroes. Ozzy got the best send-off possible. There was closure.
And look, I'm not coming up with this. This has been said over and over, but Ozzy got to attend his own funeral.
100%. That's exactly what it was.
Now we move to another interesting day. On October 20th, I made a few phone calls to a few people that I know. And I knew where Ace's wake was.
Oh, wow.
I've obviously I have a few connections with NYPD.
Thanks for not being the dork that went and tried to crash his wake.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I found out where it was, and for all you historian people, it was at Sinatra Funeral Home in Yonkers. And for one split second, the bad me said, "Well, I'm just gonna drive there
Get a glimpse.
to watch from the outside." And then I was like, I'm gonna end up wanting to get in, and that's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
No, I'm
now I'm
not
a
doing
bottom
that.
feeder. No, no. Mm-mm.
And I picked the phone up and I called Father Rocco, and I said, "Hey, I just got off the phone with this person from NYPD," and he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I know where Ace's wake is," and he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "You're gonna have to talk me into it," and he's like,
I'm not doing that.
"No, we're not doing that." I'm like, "Okay, good. Okay, good." I'm like the good angel on this shoulder just beat the bad devil on this shoulder. And it was because people were texting me. I don't know. Like some people thought because I lived close to Ace that like I knew things. So there were actually people texting me like, "Hey, do you know where the wake is?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." I'm thinking, yeah, yeah, I'm not telling you. And we actually filmed the day of the funeral. We filmed an episode, I think, and I think I made mention of Sinatra Funeral Home that day because the funeral was actually going on at that time, and I was like, "Yeah, nobody's going there." But on October 22nd, Ace was laid to rest at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx, and I do intend on going to the cemetery because it's only in the Bronx. It's probably maybe an hour away from me at some point this summer to pay my respects, and I try to get some closure that I still haven't gotten for some crazy reason. And then we get to November 10th, and guess what happens on November 10th, Black Diamond Dave?
What happened?
Eric Singer gets confirmed that he's performing with the band at Kiss Cruise Landlocked.
And the excitement shot way up for that event.
Eric Singer was never that popular
Nope.
until they kind of threatened to take him away, and he became real popular, even to me. And I like Eric, so I'm not saying anything bad about Eric, but he shot up in importance, at least to me, this whole time period from like March to November. This was keeping me up at night. Who's playing drums for Kiss?
Right.
What is going on? And no one would say anything. Doc McGee came out on a podcast, I think in late October, and he was the only one that said anything, and it was like, we're working on it. Like, other than that, nobody was asking Paul. Nobody was asking Gene. They weren't giving any information. Like, it was the big mystery. And then all of a sudden, just like that, Eric Singer's coming, and we don't have to deal with that. And then we move right into, and this was stupid, but a couple days later, the full Kiss lineup is confirmed to perform at Vegas. Like, we didn't already know that once you brought Eric Singer in. And then the Alive box set is released to tremendous, tremendous fanfare.
So good.
And, you know, rewind back to Dress to Kill. I thought it was great. I mean, I was born and raised in Jersey, so I loved the Wildwood show.
No, it's the highlight of the set. It really is.
The only thing is, again, Dress to Kill 1 month, Alive box set the next month, bad move. Live shows on Dress to Kill, live shows on Alive 1 is too close. It's too much of a good thing in that case.
I'm gonna beat Davenport into the ground. Who puts out recordings of themselves sick in high definition? Only a band like Kiss does things like that. It's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Good for. Do we always want the greatest sounding
No,
perfection
this
of
is the
everything?
flu game.
That's what we have Alive for.
Right.
Like, I've said this over and over again. Oh, people knock Alive because it was re-recorded in parts of it. I don't care.
I
I
want it to
want to
sound
put
good.
it on and I want it to sound good. But for the other stuff, it's nice to see some cracks once in a while.
Definitely.
And that brings us to the epic Kiss Cruise Landlocked in Vegas,
Such a
November
good time.
14th to 16th at Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas. We're not going to go crazy with this.
No.
Father Rocco and I did a full review. Black Diamond Dave was there, so if he didn't agree with our review, he should have put it in the comments at the time. Now he can just text me and tell me I'm wrong.
There you go.
It was a great weekend. I thought there was a ton of things done right. There were a few things that I disliked. Most of those things had to do with the Virgin Hotel and not with Kiss. But I definitely think they have a very strong foundation to build on in the future if they want to stay in Vegas. And I can see there are very small, easy things to do to improve on the entire experience. The one thing that I don't think that they can improve on is the messaging throughout the hotel, because that was a Kiss hotel.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that blew my mind. Right when we parked the car, from the doors all the way through. But there's
The only
other
thing
things.
was if they had like the casino staff in the makeup. That was like the only other thing I thought of that would really have taken it to like that next, you're on planet Kiss now.
We're down the home stretch,
Yeah.
hooligans. Thayer St. James EP is released via their website. And as far as I know, the only place you can listen to it is their website, and you have to buy it. And no knock on Tommy Thayer or Jamie St. James, but I'm not sure that I'm paying $50 for 6 songs. I will wait till that hits streaming, and then maybe I'll comment on it here. And we're into December, and of course, December is pretty monumental. Kiss
Heck
are
yeah.
honored at the Kennedy Center Honors. Performers covering Kiss include Garth Brooks, Marcus King, and Cheap Trick. And right here will be a link to our entire review of that if you're interested in that. But I will say the review is worth watching and listening to. And the Kennedy Center Honors is available on Paramount Plus right now for your streaming. And just fast forward through the rest, and you got to watch about a half hour. But it's worth it. Peter Criss releases his solo album. It's his first solo album since 2007. And amazingly enough, it quickly reaches #1 on iTunes rock charts. So from this Peter Criss Kiss fan to all the other Peter Criss Kiss fans that bought it on iTunes, good job. I bought it, and we should all support an 80-year-old Peter Criss that promised us a rock album. And I dare anyone to tell me they got what they expected, because I did not expect it to be as good as it is and was. And that's the reason why people like Black Diamond Dave are hoping for another one.
Best believe it.
Because I can tell you, if he came out with an All for One, nobody'd be talking about him coming out with any future music.
All for two.
And on top of that, we just did a review, and I will put the card up here if you're interested in seeing that review, because it's killing it right now on YouTube, by the way. And we and Peter appreciate all the support. And finally, we have gotten to the end. Nick Simmons and Evan Stanley released the single Body Down as the duo Stanley Simmons. And I will say this, it's interesting. I kind of like it. It's a different pace. It's a little too much Simon and Garfunkel for me, but it shows a lot of hope. I just hope the next song that they put out is a little more rockish, let's
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. But you can't help but root for Evan, man. After I met him in Vegas and had a couple minutes to chat with him, such a likable, nice dude. I want to
Yeah,
see nothing but good things happen to them.
absolutely. Even if I don't like what they do, I will support it in the future
Yeah.
because he was very cool that night of the pre-party. He was that cool to everybody. And look, he's Paul Stanley's kid. If we're going to support Paul Stanley and we're going to support Gene Simmons, and God knows we all support them, we should support Evan Stanley and Nick Simmons. And that brings us to probably the funnest part, at least for me, is looking forward into 2026.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just put a couple
go.
things here. Unless did you bring your own?
Yeah, I had one final thing for looking forward to the future.
Go ahead.
They seem rejuvenated. They really seem to be into being Kiss again. I think the 2 years they took off did a lot for them, and I think they want to play again. I think if you watch the Kennedy Center, Gene and Paul are itching to be on stage again.
Well, I will say this. Any Kiss fan that thought that they were going to retire,
You're not a Kiss fan.
right, you should know better. I do believe you will not see them in makeup and costumes, and part of that reason I think is age. The other part of that reason is I think Kiss fans' expectations of a physical type show go up. And I don't think at 76 years old, Gene Simmons is going to fly to the rafters to sing God of Thunder.
I don't even want that anymore.
I don't either. I loved the clean, simple Kiss show that they put on in Vegas. I thought that was perfectly fine. Button down shirts, jeans, go out there with the instruments, stand there in front of the microphone. You don't have to worry about the sweating, the out of breath, or any of that. They played the songs. I thought it was a good set list.
Definitely.
Of course, it could have been better. I would have picked crazy songs probably, but yeah, I think there's a very good possibility we're going to see something. I don't know what it is. I still believe it's going to be a residency. I still believe it's going to be in Vegas. And, I believe that keeps the machine rolling. But that's my own theory that Vegas has become Kiss headquarters. It's close enough to LA that the travel is easy for them. I got a couple others, though.
Okay, let's go.
Will Gene tour again?
What was the reason that he canceled all those other dates? That would be my only question.
What was the real reason?
The real reason, other than sales. It had to be sales.
It was sales. Everybody knows it was sales.
Then how could he tour again if the numbers aren't there for him?
Well, the numbers would be there. He was playing too big of places. The place that we saw him, I think, was 3,500. And I would say that there was probably 2,500 in there.
I'm so in the bubble. I feel like you should be able to sell that at no problem.
I think he would be able to sell it out if he changed the set list. Look, it's 2025. It's going to be 2026. You go to setlistfm.com.
Yeah.
Or .fm, whatever it is, and you look at the set list. And you go, oh, he's playing that again? It's unfortunately the same knock that was on Ace that I regret. And I've said this on the show before. I looked at the set list. He was 15 minutes from where I am right now. And because of the set list, I said, you know what? I'll go see him next summer. And now there is no next summer. So I got to live with that regret. Father Rocco had never seen Ace solo. And he chose the same thing. So I'll blame him because he's not here. Next up, and I got to bring this up, and it's probably ignorant and hooligans may have a problem with it, but will the Ace Frehley toxicology report be released? And before you answer that, I want to explain why. I don't think there's anything on the tox report. I think they're going to come back at zeros. I want them to come back at zeros because I want Gene to look like a fool and finally shut his mouth.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it comes out because of that.
The only way it doesn't come out is if there's something dirty on it. That would be the only time I would be worried about what happened. I think his family releases it for sure if it's clean, just to stick it to Gene.
Well, I would say it should be done by January. I'll say by the end of January it should be done. I'm guessing it's done already.
It's like 3 months, so yeah, that should be plenty of time.
I do know a little bit about this. So, will Peter do any live shows for the new album?
He's teased it. I don't see him getting the sales to justify shows.
Well, I think if he did one in New York City at a reasonably small place.
It'd have to be a really small club.
I don't think it had to be that. Do you think it would have to be that? You don't think that you can find 3,500 Peter Criss KISS fans that would go out to one show?
Up in New York, definitely. Down where I'm at, he wouldn't sell shit.
All right, our last two. Will there be another KISS event, and will it be on land or sea?
Definitely going to be another KISS event. They're not going to leave that money on the table. Not after the reception they had with this one, and I don't believe they even sold this one out all the way. The next one they're going to want to sell out. They're going to add some extra seasoning to, I would think, and they'll sell that bad boy out, whether it be land or sea. My gut tells me land, but if Paul has his way, it's going to be sea.
My gut tells me it's 100% going to happen because of all those things you said. And my gut tells me that it's going to be on land because of what I've said before. It's good business.
I've heard rumors, though. People were saying, now keep in mind, the last cruise was before the pandemic, but they said financially it worked better for them on the ships.
Worked better for who?
For the people that wanted to make the money. Band.
I think, well, look, I say this all the time. What the hell do I know?
Me either.
But I think that Pop House is not looking at this.
I see what you're going to say.
Not looking at 2026.
These are all investments.
They're right. They're looking at 2030, 31, 32, 33, and moving forward. And I think one of their big money things, and by all means, they spent $350 to $500 million on KISS. There's nothing wrong with them wanting to make their money back. But I think because of that, their golden goose are the avatars. And I think because of that, they're going to stay landlocked. And now I'm not saying anything new, but it is really, until I'm proved wrong, I think that's the really good business move. But remember, that comes from a guy that looked at an episode that's killing it on YouTube right now and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. We shouldn't put it out."
If it plays the way it did last year or this year, by March, April, we'll know.
Right.
I believe that.
And I have a feeling that may be a little earlier too, to give to sell more tickets. Yeah, why not?
Okay. I mean,
I do.
I'm okay with that.
Why not put it out in February?
Just let me book earlier. That's fine with me.
Right.
Dude.
I mean, you do it in Vegas. I think you do it no matter what, and I'm going. But you do it in Vegas, and I'm there. Yeah. There's no question about it. And the last thing is, will there be more box sets in 2026, which is probably the stupidest question.
Does a bear go in the woods?
But the better question is, what do you think the next box set will be?
It's got to be Rock and Roll Over.
It's got to be Rock and Roll Over.
I think the other thing, though, is Destroyer would be up on the table this year. I don't see them leaving that money on the table. You're going to get a Destroyer box set.
Do you really think you're going to get another one?
The last one was a 45th. It's been 5 years. There's no way they're not cramming that up your nose.
Is there enough new material to justify it and for fans to buy it?
I never knew they started a show with Rock Bottom. They surprise me every year. There may
Well,
be, I
that's
don't
true.
know.
I can't argue with that fact. I do think you're going to see rock and roll over, and I will say this: they could write that in crayons, and that will probably outsell every other box set to date because
If
rock and roll over is just such. It is held at such high regard to Kiss fans that no matter what it is, they're going to buy it. They're gonna buy it. I mean, and I can tell you, if they put out a rock and roll over box set, I'm gonna buy it,
heck yeah,
and I'm gonna buy it just to warm up for 27 when they put out the Love Gun box set, because I might buy two of them. I may buy the vinyl record Love Gun box set, and I don't even have a record player.
what could they put in that bad boy though?
I can't wait to find out.
That Love Gun box set is gonna be amazing.
Oh my god!
I
We'll
want the
pick.
Van Halen demos in the box set, like the "God Love for Sale" demo they did with the Van Halen or Gene did. Ooh, yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. That would be an interesting thing to hear. Huh.
it's on YouTube. If you
Is
haven't
it?
heard it, yeah,
No,
I've
I
heard it.
haven't heard it yet.
It's really good.
Is it?
But you can't trust me. I'm going to tell you it's all good.
Anything you want to add to this debacle that we just went through?
It was an awesome year to be a Kiss fan. After 2 years of what felt like nothing, we ate good this year as Kiss fans. I don't see how anyone could really complain.
Yeah, I have to admit, 2023, the way it all ended was a little bit of a letdown to me. The last shows in Madison Square Garden were a little less than what I expected, and
Dude,
it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And collectively, with Peter's new album and with all the other things that went on collectively, I think they righted that ship in 2025. And the one thing I can say for sure for 2026, they're going to move forward. Kiss is not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere as a brand. That's
no.
for sure. And that's a good thing. And we should all appreciate that. And for all you hooligans out there that constantly make the comments about the money grab, don't buy it. Don't buy it. But it's nice that it's available for the tarts that want it. And I truly mean that. Look, I joked and I will still make fun of the $50,000 gold single. But if you got the money and you want it, you should be able to buy it. And there's nothing wrong with Kiss putting it out there and making it available for you. I do not, well, actually, I do want the Kiss cutlery set, but I can't justify spending thousands of dollars on something that I will never touch or use ever again. But there are plenty of people out there that would like that, and it should be available to those that want it. And I think that's cool. If you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, please leave us a review. And if you just found us, check out our past episodes. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel and you like this episode, please consider hitting the like button, just like that guy right there, and leaving us a comment. Hit that subscribe button, just like that guy right there, so you don't miss any future episodes, and check out these episodes right here. As always, if you made it this far, thank you for supporting us, and don't forget, we should all lead with love and take care of each other. Peace out, Hooligan Nation.